Guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a review of the Opera Tarot, L'Opera Tarocchi, and this is by Linda Sutton and Philip Carr-Gomm. And I heard about this actually through my moderator slash my really good friend, and she told me all about this because, well, I am a professional opera singer. I do that on the side, and it's one of the things I love to do. And so, of course, I'm like, into anything opera. And she was like, you need to check out this deck. It did take a little while to get here because it was coming from the UK. And I will put the link down below in case you're interested. But I just really want to show off this beautiful artwork. I think it's a fabulous deck. And, if you are into opera, or maybe you're just into beautiful artwork, I think this deck is definitely going to be up your alley. But without further ado, let's actually just kind of get into it. So, it comes off like this, and it's super cool. And the inside looks really awesome. There's like definitely an attention to detail. It is a little bit of a pricey deck, but you are getting something that is, straight from a creator. I like when, I'm all about the indie decks basically. So here you have the artist signature inside, Linda Sutton, and this is number 761 out of 1,000. And then they said that's it, they're not making any more. So I actually got a second deck for a really good friend of mine who used to be my voice teacher, and then we just kind of became like really, really good friends. But she just got her second contract with the Met, and she kind of sings all over the world. She's a beautiful, beautiful alto contralto. So she's got that deep, dark voice that shakes the floorboards, and it's freaking awesome. So anyway, inside here, there are a couple of guidebooks you see here. So one of them is in Italian and one of them is in English. Let me just put that back inside there. Put these in there. Get me all situated. Okay, so inside the little guidebook, there's actually a wealth of information. So when it first starts off, it talks a little bit actually about Carmen being a inspiration, the opera Carmen. So it's pretty interesting. It talks, of course, a lot about opera and how that can connect with the tarot, so on and so forth. And then you have, I kind of see it as like like a short list, if you didn't want to go searching through about like what opera is connected to which card. So here you have the major arcana, and it tells you exactly what the opera is that's depicted within the card and who the composer is. And then it has that for the minor arcana as well. So that way it's just like a quick reference, in case you're like looking at the card. And for me, the font on the cards you'll see is a little hard for me to read, even though, obviously I can read cursive, but sometimes when things are too fancy, it's a little harder to read. And then it, of course, it goes into more detail as you get into the actual rest of the guidebook. So let's say for the Fool, it gives you the upright and reverse meaning. It gives you a little bit about the composer and the opera itself. And then here, a little like, just like the Spark Note version of the opera and what's being depicted in the card. And so I've been loving this because I don't know every opera out there, okay? Like I didn't go to, I didn't get my degree in music or music theory or anything like that. So, as much as I love opera and I've been singing opera, there's still so much for me to learn about it. And I think that being able to mix it with one of the favorite things that I love to do, which is read the tarot, I'm like, heck yeah. So anyway, I'm loving using this with my deck. I don't always use it with the deck, but I like it. And by the way, there's 2 extra cards that come with this deck as well. You could decide if you would like this particular 7 of Swords, or you would like this particular 3 of Swords. And just based off of like what's going on in the opera, I felt that these 2 cards weren't the best fit for, I don't know, maybe this one could have been a 3 of Swords, but I just felt that the other 2 cards, which you'll see in just a moment, were better fits for the Seven of Spades or Swords and the Three of Swords. So anyway, let's put those there. And the cards themselves, so it has a rose gold foil finish, which is pretty cool. And it just says L'Opera Taroki over and over, or the Opera Tarot over and over again on the back, which is pretty freaking cool. It's so beautiful. Like, oh my gosh. And the cardstock, I mean, it's on the thinner side, but they're wide cards. And obviously there's 78 cards. And I think if the cardstock were any thicker, it'd be a lot more difficult to shuffle, especially if it was like, let's say the Star Child or something like that. And then if you want to do a little comparison with like a regular standard tarot card size, you could see that it is quite a bit wider and a little bit taller. But for me, it's still, I could still do a side shuffle and it's no biggie. But if you had smaller hands, you could always do a top shuffle, you could riffle shuffle, you know, something like that. And then I do also want to note that it has rose gold edging. And I don't see a whole lot of decks with rose gold. So I was like, ooh. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this beautiful deck. So the cards have a nice matte finish to them. So you can see there's not a whole lot of shine. Somewhere on the card, it'll tell you what the suit is. You know, if you don't, you know, readily see the cups or the swords or the wands or the pentacles or whatever it may be, you'll have your Roman numeral telling you what it is. And then you will have the name of the opera. And sometimes in here there was like the name of the actual singer. Sometimes there's, you know, there's other stuff that's written in there as well. But sometimes I just have a harder time with the font, not on all of the cards, but maybe on some of the cards. But I am so into Linda Sutton's art style. I have her Language of Birds. Well, I mean, it's also by Philip Gomkar, or Cargom, sorry. And yeah, I think that's by him, yeah. But she did the artwork for that one, and I think it's just fabulous. And actually, in that one, there's a few opera singers, as well as like pop culture icons, too. You know, a lot of these operas I do know, and so being able to kind of see how it's represented with, you know, certain singers, it's just so super cool. So like I said, this deck may not be for everyone, just because maybe not everybody's into opera and not like a opera geek like me. But even if you aren't into opera, you know, I'm like, it's beautiful. And how cool is it that, you know, maybe you could use the guidebook and you pull a card a day, and maybe you're like, I don't even know what that opera is, but, you know, you could look it up on YouTube and then maybe listen to it. And even if you don't know what they're saying, because maybe it's not in your mother tongue, you could be like, oh, by the way, my friend, she was in Akhenaten, which is pretty cool. She was in a few of these, which also, you know, I have that personal connection. But and this one, Madame Butterfly, I did get to see that when I was in Rome, so that was pretty cool. Got to see it amongst some ruins, which was pretty neat. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful deck. It's beautifully done. You could listen to an opera. What feelings are evoked when you listen to it, even if you don't have any idea what it is that they're saying or what's going on? Just how do you feel inside, and how do you think that connects with the card that you pulled that day? So I think it's just a neat way of having a connection with a deck, you know, musically, especially if you're so musically inclined. Like this one. Oh my goodness. Just so much movement and emotion. My goodness. So for me, I have been doing full-on readings with this. Sometimes I want to actually dive into the guidebook as well, and I'll pull that out if I don't want to just go with like the Rider-Waite-Smith type meanings, because this is kind of based on the RWS. And I also want to get a little bit extra, like maybe I may not know some of the operas that I pulled, so I would look in the guidebook and try to see how that synopsis of the opera would add into it. And Suor Angelica, by the way, I've been in that one a couple of times. I sang with San Diego Opera when they were, trying not to close. It's when we were trying to save the opera. And I also got to sing it when I was in Viterbo, Italy, so which was pretty cool. And one of my favorite operas of all time is Carmen. It's just, especially near the end, it's so sad. And actually, she does use the tarot in the opera, when she's trying to figure out about her fate, because like her whole life is like just totally messed up, and she's pulling these cards, and here we go, Carmen, and the last card she pulls is the death card, and she's like, La Mort. And you're just like, oh my gosh, oh no. Of course we know like death doesn't always mean like death, but for the dramatic effects of the opera it does. My goodness. Yes. So like I'm saying, you guys, I do these reviews because I want you guys to see like all the beautiful art that's out there, with these tools that we love to use for divination or self-development, whatever it is that you're using the tarot for. That there's all these beautiful decks, there's all these wonderful artists, there's all these creative, wonderful, magical people putting such awesomeness out there, and I'm just trying to share it with you. And if in the process you were actually looking to maybe get this deck, or whatever deck it is that I'm reviewing, then I'm always hoping that the reviews help. But otherwise, I'm never pressuring anybody to buy a bunch of decks or anything like that. I just want to flood the internet with beauty. That's all I'm trying to do. Because like for me, I love to but I like to watch deck reviews myself. Not because I want to buy every deck on the planet, but sometimes I just want some eye candy for the day, and I just want to go ooh and just like soak up the energy of that particular deck. And that is it. So let's go ahead and just pull a card. And I actually want to read from the guidebook, about what it says about that particular card, just because I feel like the guidebook is actually a really good wealth of information. And if this message connects with you in some way, even though I'm just kind of randomly pulling a card, I am kind of putting the energy out there that hopefully, somebody gets a good message. So hey, you get a review and a message. So there you go. Okay, so it looks like we have the Five of Wands and we have Verdes Don Carlos. So let's take a look at the card here. The Five of Bastone. Okay, so let's see what the guidebook has to say. Okay, so we're going to go Five of Wands. Hold on, I passed the wands. Okay. Five of Wands. Oops. There we go. So it gives you some keywords: competition, struggle, conflict, power, power struggle. Okay, so Don Carlos, composer Giuseppe Verdi. The life of Don Carlos is a perpetual struggle against his father, Philip II, King of Spain. To aid a truce between France and Spain, Carlos's beloved Elizabeth of Valois is forced to marry his father, the king. Ooh. The king's jealousy of the love between his son and Elizabeth is deeply seated. Don Carlos gives his support to the liberation of the Netherlands against his father and the heinous Grand Inquisition. My tarot depicts tenor Jonas Kaufman in the title role. So very, very interesting. That is a struggle indeed. So see, it just kind of like adds depth to what we already know the Five of Wands to be. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the tarot, the Opera Tarot, or L'Opera Tarocchi. Like I said, you know, I'm kind of an opera geek, so anyway, let me know if you have any comments or questions on this deck. Let me know if you have this deck. Let me know if you sing opera, actually. I'd like to talk shop with you. So but that's it for me, spiritual homies. If you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. I have a lot of different readings, and not only do I have a plethora of readings, but I also have my bracelets that I make. I have my Rooma body sprays, my salves. I have my Travel Witch altar pendants, ancestral altar pendants, my rainbow bridge pendants to honor your furry, feathery, scaly loved ones. And I also have my own deck, my Wally's World Oracle, which was community created and community funded. So definitely check it out. And hey, if you want to throw a little love my way, think about joining the KWT tribe over at patreon.com/kittenswaitsandtarot. For as little as $1 a month, you greatly help out the channel so I can do more, create more for you homies, and hopefully come up with another meetup when it is allowable. But anyway, that's it for me, spiritual homies. I will catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.